Hello, my viewers. Welcome to my channel, Grandma Frida. My name is Frida Wayeme, and today I have with me a guest. You've seen her before on this platform on my YouTube channel. She's a mother, she's a grandmother, she's a sister, she's an auntie, she's all the titles that you can give to female. And professionally, she is a senior editor. She has worked with the major media outlets in this country. And as I said earlier, she was on this platform last year. So before I let her introduce herself, I would like to inform you that I got to read from various media platforms the information you are seeing on the screen right now, and I decided to invite her back to this channel. I would like her to introduce herself to us. Welcome to my channel.
Thank you, Grandma Frida Wayeme.
Yes.
I'm Dorothy Kweyu, and my colleagues like to call me a veteran journalist. I'm a journalist and editor of 45 years plus standing, and have grown with the media in this country.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Would it be okay to tell us which media you have worked with before and what area you really specialized in?
My entry point was really Peter Mall Africa Limited. It was an in-house publication company, in the sense that if you had a job that required publishing, be it a magazine, be it a newsletter, be it whatever, or publicity, you went to Peter Mall. And at that time, they were based on Mfangano Street, on Raleigh House. At that time, it was Richmond House. And a few paces across the road from the then Information House. Yeah, so that was where I made my debut into media. That is where I cut my teeth as an editor, because they threw at me the challenge of being the founder editor of Woman's Voice, which was the official magazine of the Maendeleo ya Wanawake organization.
Wow, it's nice hearing your background in journalism, the media work. And actually, it's because of that I've been missing you in the media for so long, until sometime early March. I saw your name. It must have been either Saturday or Sunday Nation, and I got so interested. Oh, Dorothy is back, and I started reading the story, and it was totally a different story from what you had been bringing to us. Can you please tell my viewers what is going on?
What happened, Frida, on that day is that for the first time, I broke the story of my son, my firstborn, Stephen Bertrand Munyaho, who, as we talk, is an inmate in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. And as they put it, or as it is, he's on death row. That is, unless we raise an equivalent of 3.5 million Saudi Arabia riyals, which is like 150 million Kenya shillings. And that is dia, or blood money, which is needed to secure Steve-O's freedom. They grew up calling him Steve-O, and his friends and siblings call him Steve-O. But otherwise, as I said, he's Stephen Bertrand Munyaho. Just over 13 years ago, on April 9th, 2011, my son got into a fight with a colleague on a matter that is best explained by him. Mm-hmm. And the fight became violent, and his colleague apparently used his nail opener to stab Steve in the thigh and on the left thumb, just next to the index finger.
Okay, how did he get the opener? Were they in the house?
It was on his desk.
On his desk, so they were in the office?
They were in the office,
mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
just to interrupt you, were they working together?
They were working together. Okay. They were colleagues, mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
And it was, he was a warehouse manager mm-hmm. With this company, which is a resort on the Red Sea. It's a Red Sea resort in the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia.
In the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia?
Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So he was stabbed and he snatched the same knife and stabbed his colleague. Mm-hmm. And it became so violent, the owner of the office took a fire extinguisher, aimed it at Steve, but it missed him, but it exploded. So the whole place went misty.
Who took the fire extinguisher?
The late, because his colleague eventually died. Mm-hmm. He succumbed to the wounds. Mm-hmm. And Steve too would actually have succumbed mm-hmm. because they went their different ways. His colleague ended up in hospital mm-hmm. and apparently passed away. Okay. And when he passed away, it became a police case mm-hmm. and they went to pick up Steve. Okay. It was in the morning because the resort, it's 24 hours. Okay. And it's important to note that when the matter later went to court, mm-hmm. which was like 6 months later, mm-hmm. The doctor relied, the judge relied on the doctor's evidence, mm-hmm. which he said, in which he says that the wound that the late, it's called Mujahid.
Mujahid?
Yes, Saleh, yeah, Mujahid Saleh. The wound from which he died was not enough to kill him. His opinion was that he overbled. And I'm inclined to believe this because the ambassador repeated the same, because I believe that they were represented in court. Mm-hmm. And Ambassador Saleh was also called Saleh. At that time in Saudi Arabia, told me that Mama Steve never killed Mujahid. Mujahid died in hospital, and I believe it's because of the hot weather that he overbled. He overbled. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And incidentally, the same would have happened to my son. Mm-hmm. Yeah. This is a fight that actually would have had 2 casualties if the police had not gone to arrest Steve when they did. Because when they went and they were ready to handcuff him, they saw him bleeding, mm-hmm. and they were alarmed. Mm-hmm. And in that regard, they saw that, look, this calls for an ambulance. Yes, so they actually got an ambulance, mm-hmm. and I think they must be much more advanced than we are, because while at it, and they realized that he had already lost a lot of blood, and they put him on transfusion.
Okay.
And before he reached hospital, he actually had received 2 pints.
Okay.
That is his own testimony. Yes, and it's on this evidence of the doctor that the first judge who presided over Stevo's case was convinced that it was a manslaughter case. It was not a murder case because both of them were injured.
Okay.
Yeah, and Stevo, as he said, it was in self-defense. He stabbed his colleague in self-defense.
Now, Dorothy, there are 2 issues you mentioned, yeah? One issue you have said, Steve, the first mention in court. So, can you please tell us how was this case handled?
There were 2 in the sense that after the initial case, which was in September, October 2011,
Yes.
yeah, 6 months after the incident, he was sentenced to 5 years for manslaughter.
That is Steve.
Yes, and but the family of the deceased appealed before the Sharia court, and 3 years later, in June 2014, they converted, the sentence was upgraded to murder, yeah, and they gave the widow 3 options. You can forgive, because she was in the Sharia court. You can forgive, you can ask for diya, which is blood money, or you can ask for execution. And the widow or the family of the deceased wanted Steve executed.
Okay, we'll get there. You as a mother, how did you get to know what is happening?
This news came to me 3 days after it happened. And it was the most unexpected news. It was news at a time when we were actually mourning a daughter-in-law, a young woman from the family into which my daughter is married. And we were preparing for the burial of Shiro, as we called her, Banjiro. And at 8 in the morning, that is now 12, I get a call from my first cousin, and she says, Steve fought with his colleague and he's dead.
How did your first cousin get to know this information?
Because he was associated with Steve's going to Saudi.
So you get this information?
So I got this information from her, and it was like a sledgehammer on my head, because the way it was put, Steve fought with his colleague. Steve was in a fight with a colleague and he's dead. For me, the first impression was that Steve was dead. And I didn't wait to hear the rest. I just got lost. I wailed. The children were still at home. They joined me, and we were all weeping. And being April, it was holiday time. So all the children were at home. And it was until around 11 that the children came again and said, look, we've just got a call, and it's not Steve who died, it is his colleague. And that finished me, because I'm not saying it would have been better for my child to die, but I knew that either way, Steve is dead. He's dead as I thought he had died, or he's dead because he's going to be executed if it has been found that he killed his colleague.
Yeah.
So it was now like from bad to worse. Yeah.
So at that level, what was your first reaction after that? Get the information and to know what to do?
My first reaction was that I need to go to Saudi to get it firsthand. But I also told myself, right now, I'm pursuing the death in the family. Yeah. So the moment we have laid to rest our loved one, then I'll now concentrate on going to Saudi Arabia so that I get to know exactly what is going on, you know. That is now when the news was first broken.
Okay, then I remember you mentioned about the ambassador. At what point did the ambassador get into this?
They got into it almost immediately because that is how much they are in touch. As soon as we finished with the burial that we had at hand, I went to Foreign Affairs and I started seeking to travel to Saudi. And it just didn't work. And to date, it hasn't worked.
Now, Dorothy, this thing happens 2011.
Yes.
You come to write it in the newspapers 2024.
Yes.
What was happening?
What was happening is that after the matter went to appeal, I was tense. I didn't know how the appeal would go. And also, news of death and news like divorce is not that kind of news that you share, you know. It's like you are tense. You don't know which way it is going, you know. And then comes 2014 and it is worse than you thought. He is now facing execution, and the only thing that is delaying his execution is that a child in the family was only 5.
The deceased's family
was only 5 when the tragedy occurred. And apparently, in matters like that, all the children have to have a say. And being a minor, the youngest child could not have a say. So that bought Steve time and also enabled the embassy to negotiate or to team up with the Saudi authorities to negotiate with the family so that they put aside the execution thoughts and opt instead for blood money. They call it blood money.
Blood money, also known as diya in Islamic law, is monetary compensation which the victim's family may choose to be given. This is why we are requesting for donations to help Steve's family raise 150 million Kenyan shillings through the account scrolling on the screen right now.
The money is impossible. It's an impossible amount, but again, we live in a world of possibilities and we live in a world of miracles. We believe in a miracle working God. So, when I went public, it was because of this possibility that we might raise funds to bring Steve back.
I've seen Kenyans contributing as little as 20 shillings. Is that true?
As little as 1 shilling.
Yes.
And as we have always said, no amount is too little. Because each amount adds up. And it is this money that we are looking at. Look here. When the Ministry of Foreign Affairs Diaspora Office first called me to tell me about the opportunity of paying blood money. And then they told me the amount. I just told them point blank, that is money I can never raise. Me or my family can never raise that money. That is what I told them.
It's a lot of money.
And but they told me, you come and get the letter,
Yes.
which gave me the account into which we can send the money,
Yes.
But you see, you can't send 10 shillings by transfer.
Yes.
So we opted and sought a pay bill,
Yes.
It can be done. If we had 1 million Kenyans,
1 million
all
Kenyans.
they would need is to pay 150 each, 150.
1 million Kenyans each to pay 150 shillings to help us bring Steve-O back. What is the other option?
And the same, 2 million Kenyans only need to pay 75 shillings each, and Steve-O will be back.
And we are 52 million
Yes.
Kenyans. So we have the means. What we really need is that will.
Yes.
And I think what Dorothy is saying, let's have the will to actually bring Steve-O back by contributing whatever little that we can contribute towards this. And the M-Pesa account is there. Please, let's do the best that we can to ensure that Steve-O comes back.
And if you have visual impairment, I can restate the number. The pay bill is 805-6675. Account number, your name. And if you prefer to just send money, it is 0702-878-717. And I'll repeat. Pay bill 805-6675. Account, your name. And if you want to pay, to send money, it is 0702-878-717. And will be...
What name comes?
You will see the name Dorothy Musopole.
Thank you so much. I can imagine you're in your retirement sunset and this happens to you.
That is what I was saying, that my husband, God rest his soul, loved to say that God has a sense of humor. Because when you are retiring, you have dreams. You are so excited.
Yes.
This is what I'm going to do, blah, blah, blah. And he comes and completely turns the tables. But as believers, faith believers, we think that God can never go wrong.
Yes.
He has a reason why he has taken me through this journey, because sincerely, it is not an easy road, living with the specter of a beheaded son anytime. Yeah. And as we speak, we managed to get an extension to November 26th. We are now less than 3 months. We are so grateful for those who have come out and raised those huge amounts. So the immense love that has been shown on this journey is just amazing. But as I said, what is needed is so much that it unfortunately diminishes or dwarfs all the efforts, which cannot be dwarfed, because honestly 14 million is not small change. It's a lot of money.
Okay. We've had, please, let's bring Steve-O back. The money, send the money to the number that I'm going to leave on the screen. Thank you.